For 2026, the Hyundai Palisade is going from large to in charge with significant changes all around. Not only do we have an all-new look, we also have new powertrains available and a new trim to make this flagship even further stand out from the rest of the Hyundai lineup. Those changes start right here at the front, where this design is much bolder than the previous model. It's more upright, wider, and obviously leaning into the lighting that Hyundai has done so well. Here in the corners, you can see the vertical lighting that we will see carried over through the back. And actually my favorite touch is this little light strip across the front, which is going to make this feel a little bit wider, but definitely very flat up front and very upright, which carries its way through the rest of this design, where it just seems a little bit more imposing. And I think that's what folks are looking for in the Palisade, a nice upgrade from the last model where this just feels like a stronger presence on the road. It's not a whole lot bigger, but it is a little bit more. We get 2.5 inches total length added to the vehicle, 2.7 of that coming in the wheelbase. That should help with things like interior passenger volume and overall ride quality. But to me, this overall redesign is definitely headed the right direction. Around back, we get the same practical space that we've come to expect, but a very smooth design. One of the things that you'll notice is there's no rear wiper here. It's tucked up under here to keep everything a little bit tighter, a little bit neater. But when you open up the hatch, we still have enough room for passengers and cargo. But what we get here is the option of a much more adjustable third row seating. So not only do I have controls over here to control all seats from the rear, so I can fold them or lift them as needed, you're also able to move those seats around just a little bit more than you used to. And if you wanted a heated third row, you can actually get it here. Not sure how many will, but there is an option. Down below the load floor, we get a little bit of extra storage, but not a whole lot. This one is the hybrid model. I haven't had a chance to look at the V6 space, but I imagine there might be a little bit extra room, but if there is, I'll be sure to let you know. The biggest change that happened to this vehicle outside of the exterior is actually what's happening under the hood, and that's going to be two new powertrain options. Where previously there was only a V6 available, we have a new V6 taking its place, that being a 3.5 liter and putting out 287 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque, or that's at least what's expected. We also have the new hybrid powertrain, and that's going to be the bigger change here. This is supposed to get this about 30 plus miles per gallon on the highway. Obviously, we'll wait till we have official numbers or get a chance to test it on our own, but this is going to be the most powerful way to get your new Palisade. 329 horsepower, 339 pound-feet of torque, and you can get this with all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. So whatever you need, there should be an option that works for you. No redesign is complete without attention to the interior, and that is exactly what we get here. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to turn all these screens on for you, but this is the same sort of 12.3-inch dual display, so driver and passenger, that we've seen from other Hyundai and Kia models, but pretty well integrated here. And then off to the side for the passenger, while this isn't exactly a functional shelf, it is a nice overall look. But as you can see, everything here is pretty boxy, pretty vertical, and again, upright. But here in the calligraphy trim, we definitely have ambient lighting, not just there in the dashboard, but along here in the door to make this a pretty premium experience overall. Lending to that premium experience is going to be an upgraded audio system. Here we have a Bose 14 speaker system, including a nice center channel there across the dashboard. And everything across this dashboard is a softer touch. Maybe not the softest, but pretty comfortable all around. We haven't done all the way away with buttons, so we do have a number of buttons here. And on the lower display, this is more of a digital button cache, and it can swap around just a little bit. But again, unfortunately, I'm not able to fire that up at this time. Moving down to the center console, we have quite a bit of room and adjustable space there as well. So a nice spot for your phone, easy to grab within reach, two cup holders off to the side. And very difficult, I know it might be, but we do also have some USB-C charging. Android Auto and wireless CarPlay are standard, so you won't have to plug in if you don't want to, but if you do, there is an option. And tucked around here, I know it's getting a little bit dark, but we also have some storage cubby space for larger items. Maybe that's a purse, a backpack, or a couple water bottles, whatever you need, you should be able to find some room. One of the main reasons you're likely looking at a Palisade is to make sure you and your family can ride around comfortably. And the good news is there is lots of room. Here in the second row, I've got leg room, I have headroom, I also have charging. What I don't have is an 8-seat configuration, and that's one thing we won't find in the hybrid. You can get it in the lower trims and paired with that V6 engine, but right now there's a little bit of a hump, and I imagine that's what's interfering with that 8-seat. But if you want to get into the rear, it is still pretty easy to do. Here in these captain's chairs, it's a one-touch push, and it's going to slide everything forward, not terribly quickly, but it's going to make getting in and out a little bit easier. And you are able to move things around like I said, a little bit more in this model than you could previously. Now, I'm not the one you're probably going to put in that third row very often, but there is a nice little nook here for my head, and I could fit here in the long term if I needed to, but short rides would be preferred. If you are the person stuck in the third row, on this particular model, I have heated seats available. You can also move these seats around electronically from the very rear, from here in that third row, and up from the front seats. I also have ventilation, speakers, and since this is a dual pane moonroof, I have plenty of room, so everyone should be able to be pretty comfortable in here. If your version of goodies on a car is a little bit different than the calligraphy model we are looking at, good news, Hyundai has heard you and enter not the XRT, but the new XRT Pro. And that's going to be the first time we see an XRT Pro badge on any Hyundai. And there are a few things that's going to set this apart from the rest of those models. The first is going to be under the hood is exclusively that V6 engine. So no hybrid powertrain here, at least not at this time. Visually, you're going to be able to tell quick and easy because we also have these very large, chunky orange recovery hooks. That is going to be a staple that we've seen in the XRT line, and I think pretty well integrated here, but we're also going to get less chrome, more black. So if we come around to the side here, where on that last model we saw a lot of chrome up on the top, well, we do still have a roof rack, but it's much more subdued layout. It's also from the side that you'll notice some of the other differences, things like some of the exclusive wheel and tire packages. XRT Pro is going to get an 18-inch wheel and obviously a much more aggressive off-road oriented tire. We're not talking about a full off-road tire, but more of an all-terrain and something you can take your Palisade further off the beaten path with. You'll need a little more ground clearance if you want to do that, and the good news here is that we get 1 more inch, so not enormous, but we're up to 8.4 inches of total ground clearance for this model. And as far as I'm concerned, that's going to be good enough for most folks and their family. If you want to do anything more extreme, you're probably going a different direction altogether. The XRT Pro is going to be in the higher level trims. As you can see, no 8-seat configuration on this one, even though we don't have that hybrid. So again, it is going to be more trim specific, but I've lost a couple features like my automatic folding rear seats. Those are done in a bit more of a manual fashion. Under that storage compartment though, paired with that V6, I imagine, is a little bit more space. And for those trying to get the most out of their vehicle, function-wise, that's a good place to start. You also get on this and some of the other higher trims a newly integrated rear tow hitch. Now, depending on your powertrain, you'll either get 5,000 or 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. The V6 is 5,000, hybrid 4,000. No matter which direction you go, there isn't really a wrong way. And when I look at this, I see the best of the lower model Santa Fe improved upon, at least visually. And when it comes to space, well, it's going to be hard to beat without getting a much bigger vehicle. And even though this has grown a couple inches in size, it still is going to be one of the more easily maneuverable, easy to park vehicles that you'll find when it comes to your local shopping trips or getting in and out of your garage. If you want to know more about the Palisade, don't worry, you're not the only one. Hopefully we get a chance to get behind the wheel and get our hands on this a little more in depth sooner than later. If it's on sale soon, then we should see it sooner than later. But in the meantime, I want to know, is this the direction you think they should have gone with the Palisade, or did you like what they had with the previous model and should have stuck a little bit closer to it? Honestly, I'm probably partial towards this direction, but let us know down in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for all of our coverage from the New York Auto Show and other Hyundai models now and upcoming. Until next time, and see you down the road.